What's going on, vloggers, bloggers, and everyday toilet brewers? It's time for another episode of the Toilet Vlog Brewing episode. And oh, I didn't realize this. Look at this thing; it's like blocking it. Motherfucker! I just take that. Thanks, babe. My wife's on the other side. So yeah, this is a strawberry mead. I know it looks weird. It looks gigantic, but honestly, it's only a 1 gallon batch. Well, it's actually less than a gallon. So what it was is that I had met a guy when I was at work, and he had honey. And I guess his wife's like a beekeeper, and I was like, dude, sell me some of your honey. He gave me this giant, what do you call it, thing of honey. And I made a different mead a couple of weeks ago. Or no, it was a couple of months ago. It was almost in October, around Halloween time. And that I made was a cider, which is an apple cider mead. And it came out really good. And I put molding spices, which is like, clove and allspice and dried orange peel and stuff like that. And yeah, everybody that drank it seemed to like it a lot. But I used a lot. I did a 3 gallon batch, and it required 10 pounds of honey, and it came out to be like 13.25 after a while and everything like that. But mead is a fickle beast within its own. The weirdest thing about mead is that you can't just throw honey and water in there and chuck some yeast in there and hope it takes off. There's not any nutrients for it. So some of the products that you could use are called Go Firm. And that is a yeast starter for your yeast to get all nice and comfortable and ready to go. And then you can use Fermade O, which is also a yeast nutrient, but you do that on a schedule. You can also get Fermade K, but this is the organic version of it. The K one is synthetic, and you can get all this stuff online at Amazon, or you can go to whatever brewing thing that you like to do. And but yeah, honey is going to be extremely expensive and extremely, not really hard to find, but just extremely expensive, especially if you're ordering at like 10 pounds or 20 pounds or like the huge like 5 gallon buckets. Those things can run up to $185. But yeah, this guy was just really cool. But this was what I had left over. So after everything was said and done, I had about 5 pounds of honey left over. I took 3 of those pounds. And then I also had a bag of strawberries in the freezer. That was a 1 pound. That was a 1 pound bag of strawberries, which I let, warm up. And then I also use this stuff called Pectic Enzyme. Excuse me, I just took a drink of my beer. And what Pectic Enzymes does is that it breaks down like the fattiness of the fruit. Like say if you were to throw a bunch of like strawberries in a thing, put a teaspoon or 2 of Pectic Enzyme, it would just turn them to mush. But that is actually a natural thing. You use it mostly in canning. And you can actually go to your canning aisle in like Walmart or whatever and find Pectic Enzyme there, as well as citrus acid, or if you really want to, you can just grind up some vitamin C tablets. And that's just for other stuff. I was just saying, shush. But yeah, so this has basically completely fermented out. I used, it was the 3 pounds of honey, 1 pound of strawberries, and I did 2 gallon batch. I've got another one of these in the other room. So that was probably about 2.5 to about 2 gallons of water to top it off. And I used spring water. And then I used K1 V1116. This stuff is awesome. It ferments mostly dry. And it's a very high flocculating yeast. I mean, this stuff is a beast. The cool thing about it is that it doesn't leave off any funky esters because of how fast it ferments. And it's also really good to use it in meads, because if you have a floral mead or something like strawberry, it retains a lot of those flavors, and you don't get that kind of off bread taste or whatever. So the cool thing about this guy is that because of the pectic enzymes, you can kind of these are just seeds. Those are literally just strawberry seeds. The rest of the actual strawberry itself is just gone. And you can, like I said, you can see right through it. So I didn't use any kind of clearing agent like sparkaloid. I did not use potassium and bisulfate. I did not use candidin tablets, anything like that. I let this guy just go naturally, and that's what I usually like to do with my meads. But I am going to be back sweetening these with the rest of the honey I've got left over. So I had 5, I used 3, and then I've got 2 left. So since the honey had been sitting for a while, it kind of crystallized a little bit. And like I said, the guy gave it to me in a big jug like this. You can see how it's kind of liquid in there. I put about, 20 ounces or so of warm water in there to try and get it to break down a little bit. And there's still a little bit of it on the bottom. But we're going to be using the same honey that we used to make this to back sweeten it. But I just wanted to go through and talk about the process because I didn't do a step-by-step thing. But I will be putting a short recipe in the in the comments, which I don't usually do that kind of shit, but it's super easy. It's literally 3 pounds of honey, 2 gallons of water, 1 pound of frozen strawberries thawed, and then you just blend it up. Put it in this guy. Put your Go Firm with your yeast, and there actually is a website called I can't remember the name of it for the life of me right now, but it's like the TOSNA yeast nutrient schedule, and you can just Google that. Just type in like it's like TOSHA TOSNA Tasha whatever, but just Google it. You'll find it. It will show you what to do. You type in your starting gravity, which is what we talked about in the last video of you taking your gravity reading to figure out how much sugar to water ratio, and then what type of yeast you're using, gallon batch size, and then it will tell you how much Go Firm to use, how much Fermade O or Fermade K. You can switch back both and forth, and it will tell you how to do it. And it will like step-by-step instructions on how to do it, because you don't just dump your nutrients in there and go. With the Fermade O, you're putting in a scheduled amount of what that website tells you, and you're doing it by gram. So you're probably going to get a scale and stuff like that. But it's had a massive brain fart all of a sudden. But like I was saying, so you'll do 24 hours after the first yeast pinch, and then 48 hours, and then I think it's 5 days after that you'll put more of this in there, and then it will say the 1/3 sugar break, and that it will tell you what the 1/3 sugar break is, and that's like a gravity reading. So this one was like the 1/3 sugar break was 1.012 or something like that, or 6.5. I can't remember. I meant to write it down. But either way, I'm going to be back sweetening this today in the next video, and then I don't know if I'm going to bottle it yet, because I know it fermented completely clear. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and bottle it. And, but yeah, I've got some of my bottles soaking right now, my wine bottles, so I can wash them. And I've also got this, which is a bottle wand. Like, this will connect on to the racking cane, and then once I get these racked over, I can just put them into the bottle and fill them up. Pretty cheap. This was like $2. This guy is a corker. You can get the really big, expensive ones online where you have to like step into it, but you can get one of these guys for like $10 at your local brew store, or like Friar Tuck's, like where I go to get all my shit, and it's still pretty cheap. Oops. And then corks. You're gonna soak these before, but we're gonna show all that in a later video, the one after this. But yeah, I'm gonna sit down, relax, and we'll see you on the next video, and we'll show you how to back sweeten.